friends, my name is Brittany. If you are new here, welcome to our channel. My husband and I post a bunch of Disney, travel, life, all the fun things here. So if you like any of that, if you like us, make sure you subscribe down below so you don't miss a single one of our fun videos. If you are returning, I'm so happy to have you back. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Today, if you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking, and by we, I mean me, we are going to be talking about how my husband and I afford to go to Disney and how to travel just in general, kind of our budgeting, money saving tips on travel in general. I get this question a ton on social media and in real life, and people just kind of wondering, like, you guys seem to travel all the time. Like, can you share any tips, any tricks, exactly how you were able to do that? So that's just what we're going to touch on today. So let's just jump right on into it. Okay, so I do want to first start off by saying that sadly there is no big giant secret that I can give you that's like, this is what we do, this is how we can go to Disney as often as we do or take trips as often as we do. The reality and the fact of it is my husband and I just prioritize travel and vacations over pretty much anything else. Jason and I do not have very luxurious or money-making jobs. We don't make a ton of money. We both work at local things, little places here in town. He works in retail and I work in food service. We do both have manager jobs, but it's not like we make a fortune or anything. So really how we are able to travel is just prioritizing, budgeting, and saving. Hi, Bubs. You want to come join the video too? Do you want to come join the videos? Do you want to come join the video? Say hi. Okay, say hi to people when you guys when we're done. Say hi. Anyways, it's really just budgeting, saving, and prioritizing. Jason and I, when we first got together, we moved into our very first apartment. If you've seen the Story of Us series that we do, I'll link it up in the cards. But we moved into our first apartment out of our parents' houses together. So we really only had an experience of budgeting and spending money together. And when we moved out, we, from like the get-go, thought that things cost more than they really did. We had a ton of money saved up, not a ton, but like, you know, substantially more than we probably needed to move out. And now I'm very grateful for that. And since then, you know, we've kind of realized more how much things cost and that sort of thing. But we mostly just live below our means. I mean, even just taking this house into account. The house that Jason and I bought as our first home, what we could have got approved for more on a house, but we had sat down and determined a monthly mortgage payment that was comfortable for us to spend while still living the life that we were living. Our mortgage does cost more than the rent we were paying because we lived in an apartment before this. But we had sat down with our financial advisor and basically talked to him and determined, we told him, like, this is a comfortable mortgage we're okay with spending because this still allows us to do all the things we wanted to do. And essentially how we got to that point, backing up a little bit further, is we take how much money we bring in every month, you know, just budgeting. We take how much money we bring in every month, we section out how much we spend on bills, and we try to spend less than half of what we bring in every month. At least is what we did when we lived in the apartment. Now we probably spend about half of what we bring in every month on our substantial living expenses. So that's everything from rent or mortgage, all our utilities, food, all our fun, that sort of thing, and then now obviously this little guy. And then we try to save the rest of it. And our savings goes to our trips. It mostly just goes to trips, which I can touch on here in a second. But that's really all we do. We just budget and we make sure that we are spending half or less than half of how much money we bring in every month. So say we bring in $6,000, we don't, but say we did. So we brought in $6,000, you know, $3,000 of it would go towards our bills, and then $3,000 would go into savings, ideally. That's what's comfortable for us. So when we picked this house, the mortgage we were comfortable spending every month was less than what we could get approved for, obviously, because you can technically, as long as your credit's good and that sort of thing, get approved for a mortgage that's half of your monthly income. So taking the $6,000 figure, if we were to make $6,000 in a month, we could, in theory, probably possibly get approved for mortgage that costs about $3,000, which to me sounds absolutely insane and like so much money. But yeah, so that's kind of in a roundabout way. Not always, but essentially. So we probably could have got approved for double what we spent on this house. But that would have put us in a tight spot. That's only your mortgage, right? So you still have your utilities, your food, your fun, everything like that on top of your mortgage. So for us, and thankfully we had a really good financial advisor who was not going to try to force us into spending more than we were comfortable with. He was like, okay, well, then that's what we will get you approved for. And we don't even know how much we could have got approved for because we didn't even go down that road. But, so we bought this house, and I love my house, and I've loved what we've done with it. I love the fact that we own it. But, I mean, it's not the best. It's not the nicest. It's not the most updated house out there. I mean, my house doesn't even have an AC or a heater right now. We have little portable heaters that you can see over in the corner. So, I mean, that's like one sacrifice we chose to make. We got a little lower house. We got a little, we could install an AC, but we choose to put our money towards other things. So that's just kind of one of the sacrifices we make. The other thing is Jason and I have been together since high school, obviously, so over 4 years at this point. And I think the first time we ever bought new clothes together was this past year, 2019, summer of 2019. We went out and we each got like 3 new outfits. But that's the only time in our relationship, apart from maybe like if we needed a new pair of pants, underwear, socks, that sort of thing, that we have gone out and bought in new clothes. All the other clothes that we wear are things that we've had pretty much since high school, or around that time when we graduated, and or things that have been gifted to us, that sort of thing. But spending our own money on clothes, the first time was summer of 2019, and that's just a sacrifice we chose to make. We had enough clothes to get us through. We look good, we look put together, and so the first time we actually went clothes shopping was this past summer. We each got 3 new full outfits. And we bought shirts here and there. We have a lot of Disney shirts, and we buy those sorts of things all the time. But as far as like going out, I feel like a lot of people our age go out and go shopping like monthly, weekly, whatever. They go out and they spend money on things, and that's totally fine if that's what you want to do. But for us, traveling was a priority. So we chose and sacrificed not buying new clothes, not having new things to do that. The other thing, which I think is such an easy sacrifice, is not having TV. We pay for Hulu, Netflix, and now Disney Plus, and we probably spend about $30 for all 3 of those. And TV costs like $80+ a month, and to me that just seems like so much money for something that we personally wouldn't even use. So if you have TV and you're like, most of my shows are on Netflix or Hulu or both, maybe I should just do those, I would recommend it. And anything in your life that way, right? Like if there's things that you are paying for that you feel like you don't necessarily need, I would cut those out. Even if you're just saving $20 a month, that $20 adds up over the span of a year. And if you just take that $20, by the end of the year, you can buy yourself a plane ticket. You can buy yourself a park ticket. Like so many different things that those little sacrifices every month add up to. Another sacrifice that we make, and I think it'd be easy for you guys to make, is eating out. Jason and I do not eat out very often. And if we do, we're usually with family or friends. We just don't typically go out. To tell you how much we don't eat out, there was one night that Jason and I were both busy. It was when Jason was in school, and I had a football game. So it was a Friday night. I was coaching. He was in class. We both got out about 9 o'clock. And we were leaving for Disneyland that Saturday morning at 2 a.m. And instead of going and getting fast food like most people would do, we had bought in spaghetti and had it ready at the house. And so we made spaghetti, ate, and then went to bed about 10. Now, fast food probably would have saved us maybe 30 minutes, right? Because we didn't have to cook it, anything like that. But for us, it wasn't worth the money or really the unhealthy part of it also. We don't eat fast food because it's not really good for you. So we don't typically eat out. We'll make some at home. We really love spaghetti. Spaghetti is a really easy, cheap thing to make. So we'll just do that over eating out. We live in a small town, so Walmart is just as close as McDonald's. Actually, Walmart's closer to my house than McDonald's. And so we'll just go to Walmart and pick up stuff to make spaghetti and just make spaghetti over eating out. So that's one sacrifice that's really easy for us to make. I understand that that's not practical for everybody. I know a lot of people eat out on their lunches. For us, like I said, you know, Walmart's super close and our jobs are super close. So we just come home on lunch. But if you can't do that, I would just recommend packing a lunch because that saves you so much money. Again, over the span of a year, that saves you so much money. So if you can look into just cutting back on maybe how much you're eating out, just see, I think budgeting, like writing everything out is really helpful, right? Like seeing how much you're spending, how much you're bringing in, like comparing those two things really like opens your eyes to like how much you are spending and then the potential and what you could save. I think the other thing is motivation. So travel is our motivation, and having that motivation, knowing that either we have a trip coming up or we're planning on booking a trip, allows us to make those sacrifices, right? So like, yeah, of course, I go to the store and I see this beautiful home decor that I want and it's $30. I take a second, step back and say to myself, okay, I have a Disney World trip coming up. Now, is it worth spending this $30 on this home decor piece? Or is it worth saving that $30 that can go and pay for my plane ticket or pay for a meal? I would probably make it simpler than that, especially just starting out. I would be like, okay, so, you know, for us going to Disneyland all the time, I know how much our meals cost at Disneyland. $30 is like a lunch at Disneyland, a breakfast plus some at Disneyland. So, like, making those comparisons for me is very helpful because I can look at something that I really want, home decor, clothing, whatever, and be like, okay, is it worth spending this money now? Or would I rather save that money and then put that money towards a meal at Carnation Cafe at Disneyland? Almost 10 times out of 10, I'm going to pick the meal at Carnation because I know how much I love that. I know that's coming up, and I want to make that a priority. So just making those little comparisons, or even just making bigger comparisons. If you're looking into maybe getting a new phone, but there's something wrong with your phone, think about, okay, so if I spend, you know, $1,000 on getting a new phone, a new laptop, whatever, even though my stuff still works, could I put that $1,000 towards a plane ticket or towards a cruise? Like, you know, big purchases, this works for as well. Sorry, I'm looking at Griggs sitting on the floor. I don't want him to eat anything. So making those big purchases is a good comparison too. And yeah, there are things in your life that you will want to buy. I mean, Jason and I, we bought this MacBook on Black Friday because it was super discounted, and it was still $700. But we had talked about needing a new laptop, needing a new MacBook specifically because I edit on my iPhone. So editing on my laptop is a lot easier with a MacBook. So we talked about that for a while. So finding it on sale, that was worth spending for us. But we still had that debate of, okay, should we spend this $700 here or put the $700 for one of our plane tickets to Disney World? And yeah, there's still other things you're going to buy. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't buy anything. I'm just saying think about those comparisons because I think it really opens your mind up to those, how much money goes where, right? And going along with that, you know, I obviously travel a lot and I price my trips out all the time, price out random trips all the time. Anyways, I price out trips all the time. So I would recommend to you, if you don't know how much a trip's going to cost, I feel like we can sometimes think that trips are going to cost more than they do, or sometimes think they're going to cost less than they do. And if you price it out, not only does it give you an idea on how much you should save, but I think that motivates you even more. If you price out a trip and it's only $2,000, I know I say $2,000, it's a lot of money, I get it, but it's only $2,000 for like a 5-day cruise. Anyways, it was only $2,000, and you know that, then you can price out how much you need to save per month to make that a reality. Or it just motivates you to make those little changes, those little sacrifices, because all of that's going towards that fund. I think really writing things out and seeing numbers, at least for me, works and inspires me even more. Knowing that I'm working towards this $2,000 goal makes me want to make more sacrifices and get there faster than just being like, oh, you know, like when I have some money saved up, I'll just book a trip. Having an actual like definite date or goal or money value in mind really helps me make those little daily sacrifices that get me to those goals. And honestly, that's really it. I think I can section off the 3 things that allow Jason and I to travel and to go to Disney as often as we do. And that's 1, sacrifices. We make the necessary sacrifices, don't take all the things, don't have all the nicest things, in order to do this. 2 is budgeting. We just live beneath our means and make choices that support that, and continue to do that day by day and month by month, year by year. And the 3rd thing is motivation. Our motivation is always to travel, and I feel like the more you do it, the more you become addicted to it. And for us, I know the feeling of getting on a boat and going somewhere new. I know the feeling of walking into Disneyland. I know the feeling of getting on an airplane knowing you're traveling somewhere new. Like, all of those things are so amazing to me, and I feel like motivation is probably the key. Knowing that those things are coming, knowing that that's what I'm going to experience, knowing that I get to do all these new things, all these fun things and make memories is so important to me, that it allows me to make all these sacrifices and live where I live and, live in the class that I live, that sort of thing. And that's not to say Jason and I live rough or anything like that, because we don't. We live comfortably, but we don't spend all the money we make every month. We save half of it. And I think if you're just starting out on this journey, if travel, or it doesn't even have to be travel. I'm using travel because that's what we do. But if you want to travel, if you want a really nice car or a really nice house or whatever it is that your goal is, maybe it's even just to pay off your debt. Who knows? Whatever your goal is, if you sit down, see how much you're bringing in, see how much you're spending, and try to make cuts where you can to get this number lower, your spending number, it is going to benefit you so much. And you can make all your dreams and all your goals happen. It might not happen overnight. It might not happen in 2020, but it will happen. And I'm not here to be, what is his name? The budgeting guy, Gary Ramsey. I don't know. The Ramsey fella. I'm not here to be him. I'm not here to tell you how you need to budget, how you need to save your money. I'm just here to answer the question on how Jason and I are able to travel and live this life that we live. And that's really the truth of it. The truth is we just work hard for what we have. We make choices that support our traveling habit. And we do. We make sacrifices. And that's not to say every time we travel the most luxurious. We travel usually the cheapest route. I've never flown first class. Would love to. Anyone out there want to buy me a first class ticket? Hit your girl up. But never flown first class. We're going on a cruise again in a week, and we're staying in an inside cabin. We don't have a window. We don't have a veranda. That's exactly what we did on our honeymoon. We didn't have a window. We didn't have a porthole. Didn't have a porthole. Didn't have a veranda. It was inside stateroom. We felt like we missed nothing from that because we didn't spend a ton of time in our stateroom, and so we made that decision again. So there are things you can do traveling wise to make your trip cheaper. If you want to know any of those, I'd be happy to make a video about cheap travel tips. But this video is mainly just focusing on getting the money to get there. And that's really how I do it. I hope no one gets mad at the fact there is no big secret for us. I hope that this video really inspires you to see that we don't have a big secret. We don't make a ton of money. We don't have these big, crazy jobs. We're normal people, just like you, and if we can do it, you can do it. I hope this inspires somebody to make those decisions, make those sacrifices, make those changes to travel to their dream destination, and to just travel a bunch in general. Maybe it's not even, going to Greece or somewhere crazy. Maybe their dream is to just take a trip 6 times a year, small trips around their state or states around them. Whatever your dream is, I hope that this video inspires you to do that, and I hope that it was helpful to somebody and you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe down below. I would love to make more advice on money and saving and travel cheaply, all of that if you guys would like to see it. So just let me know. I'm so happy to have you here, and I will see you guys in our next video. Will you come for the outro? You come for the outro? And from both of us, happy 2020. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye. Say bye, Goldie. Say bye, Goldie.